Hi everyone! So if you're like me, you're probably curious about what Dune has planned beyond launch. Well, it looks like we have some really exciting content lined up, from new cosmetics and side stories to a possible full-blown expansion. So today we're diving into everything we know so far about the upcoming DLCs. We'll go over the facts and then get a little speculative and hopeful about what's on the horizon. So let's get to it. So far, there are 4 DLCs included in the Season Pass bundle for Dune Awakening. Let's start with what we know for sure. The first DLC is called Wildlife of Arrakis. This one is purely cosmetic and includes 4 statues that players can display. Those statues are of Shai Hulud, a Moab Deeb, a Kulan, and a Chiroptera. If you're into decorating your base with lore-heavy items, this one's going to be a nice touch. The second DLC is titled Lost Harvest, and this one promises both a side story and cosmetics. While we don't have the full details yet, the description states a stranded harvester, a desperate crew, a secret that has been buried for over 10,000 years. So I think it's safe to assume we'll be getting into some new quests and interesting characters. And also seeing some cosmetic rewards like color swatches for weapons, armor, and vehicles. Maybe even some unique skins or themed gear related to the story content. The idea of a side story is especially interesting because it means we'll be getting some world building and narrative to go along with the loot. Next up is Raiders of the Broken Lands. This one is also listed as cosmetic focused, so it may be more of the same. Potentially armor and vehicle cosmetics with a raider theme. And that is definitely supported by the description of this DLC. The Broken Lands are shattered plains of broken rock, known for their fearsome raiders. Again, no hard confirmation yet, but it's another opportunity to style your character or ride with a unique look. The fourth DLC is where things get really exciting. It's called The Water Wars. Now, this one doesn't specify whether it's cosmetic or story-based, but judging by the name and description, which reads, Water is life, the water shipper families are at war, fighting for control of the polar caps of Arrakis. It sounds like it could be our first true expansion. The DLC references a struggle for control over the polar ice caps of Arrakis, and that alone hints at the possibility of a brand new location. This could be a major gameplay update with new areas, mechanics, and maybe even some new features the devs have been teasing for a while, like instance dungeons, AI bosses, and large-scale group events. And that's basically everything we know so far, and I'm sure more details will be dropping, so I'll be sure to stay on top of any other info. Now let's take a step back from the facts, and a moment to dream. There are a few things I would love to see added to Dune Awakening, especially as someone who spent a lot of time in RPGs like Fallout. One wish, public event. I get that spice blooms and crash ships can be considered public events. I would hope for an experience closer to what we see in the deep desert testing stations, where we get a few waves of enemies before going all out on looting the place. Plus, Haga Basin and the deep desert can feel really quiet sometimes, even though there's a ton of players spread out across the map. Having public events that draw people together at set times or locations could create some really fun chaos and bring more life to the world. It would also make it easier to interact and get to know other players on the server. Something else I'd like to see is an arena-style area where players could jump into PvP without needing to hunt someone down in the open world. I think it would be cool if you could choose to fight either improved AI enemies or other players. Maybe solo or in a team setting for rewards or ranking. A controlled space like that could be a great way for people to dip their toes into PvP without the usual risk. And of course, I'm crossing my fingers for those instance dungeons and boss fights. My mind immediately goes to Diablo 4. And the huge world bosses that spawn and take a dozen or so players to take down. You know, group activities, where you can fight unique enemies or go on story-based missions with your friends, would add a lot of replayability. and really help cement Dune Awakening as a long-term game for community-focused players. Overall, I think the DLCs have solid potential at the moment. Of course, the initial DLC might feel a bit lacking, but I think the rest seem to offer interesting game progression. I'm really excited to see how the Water Wars DLC unfolds, as I think it will give the community a good gauge moving forward as far as what we can expect from annual expansions and beyond. So that's everything we know so far, and a few things I'm really hoping to see. And I'll be keeping a close eye on any other updates. If you found this helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you're hoping to see in the upcoming DLCs. Also, don't forget to join my Discord and channel, and check out my socials below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the Spice Bloom.